Hi.
Hi, friends. I'm Avalon.
I'm Sabrina.
And I'm Jasmine.
And welcome to the channel.
Welcome.
We are on chapter 9.
And a recap of chapter 8. Agatha, in her test, found out that the people that get turned into animals that don't make it in the top 5 are actually still around, and even worse, their conscience is still in the animals. Agatha ends up turning the wish fish back into the little girl they once were, and becomes kind of horrified with the reality, and she kind of gets a stampede of animals chasing after her, hoping that she'll free them too from their animal confinement. In her run, she ends up going and running into a gargoyle at the top of the castle and that gargoyle was also a little boy. And right as she was trying to save it, Ted Rose ends up coming in and seeing his father's shrine kind of on fire, and ends up killing the gargoyle and being even more angry at her because he doesn't understand what's going on yet. So we'll see how things end up changing from this point forward. Will she ever get to tell Ted Rose what happened, and will he hopefully change and regret what he just did for killing a
Next time on the School of Good and Evil.
All right.
Chapter 9. The 100% Talent Show. Sophie was sure Beatrix had set fire to get Ted Rose's attention.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. No doubt he rescued her from the blazing tower, kissed her as good burned, and had set their wedding date. Sophie came up with this theory because this was what she had planned to do at lunch. Instead, classes were canceled the next day too, leaving her marooned in her room with 3 murderers. She stared at the iron plate on her bed, gobbled the soggy gruel and pig's feet. After 3 days of starvation, she knew she had to eat whatever ghastly lunch the school had sent up. But this was worse than ghastly. This was peasant food. She flung her plate out the window. I don't know where I might find some cucumbers in this place, Sophie said, turning. Hester scowled across the room. The goose. How'd you do it? For the last time, Hester, I don't know, Sophie said, stomach rumbling. It promised to help me switch schools, but it lied. Maybe it went batty after laying so many eggs. Do you know if a garden nearby with some alfalfa or wheatgrass or... You talked to it? Hester blurted, mouth full of oozing pig's feet. Well, not exactly, Sophie said, nauseous, but I could hear its thoughts. Unlike you, princesses can talk to animals. But not hear their thoughts, said Dot, slurping gruel that looked like chocolate flavored. For that, your soul has to be 100% pure. There, proof. I'm 100% good, said Sophie, relieved. Or 100% evil, Hester retorted.
Yeah.
Depends on if we believe you or if we believe the Stofs, the robes, the goose, and that wave monster. Sophie goggled at her and burst into snickers. 100% evil? Me, that's preposterous. That's lunacy. That's impressive, Annabelle mused. Even Hester spared a rat or two. And here we all thought you were incompetent, Hester sneered at Sophie, when you were just a snake in sheep's clothing. Sophie tried to stop giggling but couldn't. But she has a special talent that blows ours away, said Dot, munching that looked on what looked to be a tiny chocolate foot. I don't understand, Sophie snickered. Where's all this chocolate come from? What is that? Annabelle hissed. What's your talent? Night vision, invisibility, telepathy, fangs filled with poison? I don't care what it is, Hester snarled. She can't beat my talent, no matter how villainous she is. Sophie laughed so hard now she was weeping. You listen to me, Hester seethed, fist curling around her plate. This is my school. Keep your crummy school, Sophie hooted. I'm class captain, Hester roared. I don't doubt it. And no reader is going to get in my way. Are all villains this funny? Hester let out a mad cackle and flung her plate at Sophie, who just dove in time to see a tomahawk into the wanted poster on the wall slice off Robin's head. Sophie stopped laughing. She peeked over the scorched bed at Hester, silhouetted against the open door, black as death. For a second, Sophie thought her tattoo moved. "Watch out, witch!" Hester spat and slammed the door. Sophie looked down at her shaking fingers. "And here we thought we'd fail," Dot chimed behind her. Agatha knew it had to be bad if they let a wolf take her. After the fire, she was locked in her room for 2 days, allowed out only to use the toilet and accept meals of raw vegetables and prune juice from scowling fairies. Finally, after lunch on the 3rd day, the white wolf came and took her away, digging claws into her singed pink sleeves. He pulled her past the stair room murals, past glowering Evers and teachers who couldn't even meet her eyes. Agatha fought back tears. She already had 2 failing ranks. Inciting an animal stampede and setting the school on fire had earned her a 3rd.
What's wrong?
Just keep going. Keep going.
Oh. You keep reading. It's so
Okay.
fine.
Okay. All she had to do was pretend to be good for a few days, but she couldn't even manage that. How did she think she could ever last here? Beautiful, pure, virtuous. If that was good, then she was 100% evil. Now she would suffer the punishment, and Agatha knew enough about fairy tale punishments, dismemberings, disembowelments, boils in oil, skinning alive, to know her ending would involve both blood and pain.
Alright, just a quick momentary break because low battery.
Uh-oh.
Our bodies.
Hi guys, we're back.
Hi! That was probably... Okay, anyway, back to the story. The wolf dragged her through Charity Tower, past the bespectacled woodpecker, jabbing at new rankings on the groom room door. Are we going to the schoolmaster? Agatha asked. The wolf snorted. He dragged her to the room at the end of the hall and knocked once. "Come in," said a voice, quiet inside. Agatha looked into the wolf's eyes. "I don't want to die." For the first time, the sneer softened. "I don't either." He opened the door and pushed her through. Apparently the fire had finally been brought
Wait.
under...
The wolf didn't want to die either? Doesn't want her to die either? I'm confused.
I said I didn't either.
That's all it said?
Yeah.
Damn wolf.
I guess like he said, I think he's talking about himself as being turned into a wolf.
Oh, gotcha. Because she can talk to the animals, so now she
Yeah.
can talk. Okay. Got it.
Apparently the fire had finally been brought under control because classes resumed after lunch on the 3rd day, and Sophie found herself in a damp, moldy classroom for special talents. But she could barely focus with her stomach rumbling. Hester throwing her murderous looks, and Dot whispering to the other Nevers about their 100% evil bunkmate. It had all gone wrong. She had started the week trying to prove she was a princess. Now everyone was convinced she's evil's captain. Special talents was taught by Professor Sheba Sheeks, the rotund woman with boils on both ebony cheeks. "Every villain has a talent," she bellowed in her thick sing-song voice, pacing the room with a busty red velvet pointed-shouldered gown. "But you must turn your bush into a tree. For the day's challenge, each Never will show off their unique talent to the class. The more potent the talent, the higher the student's rank. But the first 5 kids pointed to produce anything with Vex whining. He didn't even know his talent." That didn't sound right.
Oh, you skipped one?
Did I?
Yeah.
The more potent the talent, the higher the student's rank. But the first 5 kids failed to produce anything with Vex whining. He didn't even know his talent. That makes more sense. Okay. "Is that what you tell the schoolmaster at the circus?" Sheba Sheik thundered. "I don't know my talent, or I don't have a talent, or don't like my talent, or want to trade talents with the Oodie Queen?" She had me till the last part," said Dot. "Every year, evil chooses a talent circus of talents," Sheba yelled. "Good sings a song, or waves a sword, or waves their bottom, and you have nothing better. Don't you have pride?" Don't you have shame? Enough. I don't care whether you turn men to stone or turn men to dung. You listen to Sheba, you'll be number one. 20 pairs of eyes stared at her. Which monkey is next? She boomed. The woeful displays continued. Green-skinned Mona made her lips glow red. Because every prince is scared of a Christmas tree, Sheba moaned. Anadil made her rats grow an inch. Hester sprung a hair from his chest. Arachne popped her one eye. Raven burped smoke, and then, when her teacher looked completely fed up, Dot touched her desk and turned it to chocolate. Mystery solved, Sophie marveled. I've never seen a parade of uselessness in my life, Sheba gasped. But Hester was next. Leering at Sophie, she gripped the desk with both fists, tightening tighter and tighter until each vein bulged in her reddening skin. Turns into a watermelon, yawned Sophie. Special indeed. Then something moved on Hester's neck, and the clasp froze. Her tattoo lurched again, like a painting coming to life. The red-skulled dragon unfurled one wing, then another, swung its buck-horned head to Sophie, and opened slitting bloodshot eyes. Sophie's heart stopped. I told you to watch out, Hester grinned. The demon exploded off her skin in full-bodied life and tore her towards Sophie, shooting red fire bolts at her head.
Wow.
Any guesses what her mom is yet?
Maleficent? Yeah.
Stunned, she fell backward to dodge them, knocking a bookcase to the ground. The shoe-sized beast swooped, lurched a bolt, and ignited her robes, and Sophie rolled over to stamp out the flames. Help! Use your talent, you incompetent blonde girl, Sheba barked, wagging her hips. She should sing, Dot quipped. Would kill everyone in the room. Hester circled the demon for a second task, only to see it snare in a cobwebbed spiked chandelier. Sophie crawled under the last row, glimpsed a fallen book, Encyclopedia of Villains. She ripped through the pages. Banshee, Bengizi, Berserker. Sophie, hurry up! Hort screamed. Sophie wheeled to see the winged beast slash through the cobwebs as Hester's eyes flared across the room. She flipped desperately. Cryptobat, Cyclops, Demon. 10 pages of small print. Demons are supernatural beings that come in astonishing variety of forms, all with different strengths and weaknesses. Sophie swiveled. The demon was 5 feet away.
Chewie.
Down it goes! It's still recording. Wow, we're having a hard time recording this morning.
It's okay, Chewie just wanted to make a grand entrance.
Apparently. Sophie swiveled. The demon was 5 feet away. Your talent! Roared Sheba. Sophie threw the book at the demon and missed. With a lethal smile, it held up a bolt like a dagger. Sheba lunged to interview it, and Anadil tripped her. Screeching, the demon aimed at Sophie's face. But as he slung his bolt, Sophie suddenly remembered the one talent all good girls had: friends. She spun to the window and let out a gorgeous whistle for a kind, noble animal to save her life. Black wasps smashed through the window and swarmed the demon on cue. Hester jolted back as if she'd been stabbed. Sophie's eyes bulged in horror. She whistled again, but now bats came in, sinking teeth into the demon as the wasps continued to sting. The demon crumpled to the floor like a burnt moth. In her seat, Hester's skin went white and clammy, sucked of blood. Alarmed, Sophie whistled louder, higher, and then came a cloud of bees, hornets, and locusts besieging the foaming creature as Hester violently convulsed. In the corner, Sophie stood paralyzed as screaming villains batted them away from the demon with books and chairs, but the swarm had no mercy, savaging on it till Hester heaved her last breaths. Sophie threw herself over the demon, thrust her hands into her swarm. Stop! The swarm went still. Like scolded children, they whimpered obediently and fled out the window in a dark cloud. Wheezing, the wounded demon crawled to Hester and collapsed back onto her neck. Hester choked and coughed up phlegm. Brought back from the edge, she gasped at Sophie, flooding with fear. Sophie dove to help her. I didn't mean, I wanted a bird or a... Hester recoiled from her touch. Princesses, call animals, Sophie cried into the silence. I'm good, I'm 100% good. Thank you, Beelzebub. Sophie whirled. Looks like a princess, acts like a princess, but a witch, Sheba whooped, wobbling to her feet. Mark my words, useless ones. This one's a win for the circus crown. For the first time in 2 challenges, Sophie looked up at the top ranks, spewing red smoke above her head. Panicked, she whipped to her schoolmates to appeal, but they no longer looked at her with contempt or ridicule. They were looking at her with something else, respect. Her place as #1 villain was getting surer by the minute. Up close, Professor Clarissa Dovey, with her silver bun and rosy face, looked even more comforting and grandmotherly. Agatha couldn't have wished for a better executioner. I prefer the schoolmaster to handle these things, Professor Dovey said, flipping her papers under a crystal pumpkin paperweight. But we all know how he is about his privacy. Finally, she peered up at Agatha. She didn't look comforting anymore. I had a school full of terrified students, 2 days of classes to make up, 500 animals whose memories must be erased, a classroom wing that's been eaten, a treasured menagerie reduced to ash, and a headless gargoyle buried somewhere underneath all of this. Do you know why this is? Agatha couldn't get the words out of her throat.
It gives me Harry Potter vibes. When that one teacher's like, why is it always the 3 of you?
I love McGonagall.
Yeah.
So great. But she's also kind of supportive of their mischief.
She is.
I'm not so sure this one is.
I feel like
No, I
it's almost
agree.
like a howler. You know,
Oh,
where
yeah.
have you been?
Yes.
No notes, cog on.
You see the TikTok where someone got a gift bag?
Oh, yeah, it was
Yeah.
like doing that, yeah. Except I don't think that was actually howler one. But
It was a howler. That's what
I know, I think that was when they took the car to rescue Harry.
Oh, you're talking about
Yeah.
what quote he used.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, and Shanitia. Congratulations on making it to Gryffindor. Father and I are so proud. Because you disobeyed Pollux' simple order, Professor Dovey said, and nearly cost the lives in the process. She shamed Agatha with a look and went back to her scrolls. Agatha glanced through the window at the lake shore, where Evers were finishing lunches of roast chicken topped with mustard, spinach, and Guerre crepes. Flutes of apple cider. She could see Tedros reenacting the menagerie scene for the enthralled audience, sporting his black eye like a badge of honor. Can I say bye to my friend at least? Agatha said, eyes welling. She turned to Professor Dovey. Before you kill me? That won't be necessary. But I have to see her. Professor Dovey looked up. Agatha, you received a first rank in your performance in animal communication, and rightfully so. Only a rare talent can make a wish come to life. And though there are different accounts of what happened on the roof, I would add that any pupil of this school who would risk their life to help a gargoyle, her eyes glistened for a moment, so did the silver swan on her dress. Well, that suggests goodness beyond any measure. Agatha stared at her, tongue-tied. If you disobey another teacher's direct order, Agatha, I will guarantee you will fail. Understand? Agatha nodded in relief. She heard laughter outside to see Tedros's mates, kicking around a pillow dummy with twig legs and button eyes and black thorns for hair. An arrow suddenly speared the head, spitting feathers everywhere. A second arrow ripped through its heart. The boys stopped laughing and turned across the lawn. Tedros threw his bow and walked away. As for your friend, she's doing fine where she is, Professor Dovey said, thumbing through more scrolls. But you can ask her yourself. She's in your next class. Agatha wasn't listening. Her eyes were still on the dead-eyed doll, bleeding feathers into the wind. The doll looked just like her.
Dude. Well,
So Tedros has it in for her.
yeah.
Mhm.
So much for.
She's on his hit list.
How unprincely! He cannot have a hit list.
But now he does.
Yes, he does.
Goodness.
Yep.
Poor Agatha.
But they're
high
in the,
school bullies all over again.
I
Right?
know.
It is. It literally is.
they're gonna be in the next class together too, so that's gonna be definitely very interesting.
I think temperatures are gonna boil.
I want to know who the teacher thinks is her best friend in class.
Oh yeah.
Oh, here's a picture of the little goblin.
Oh,
Here's a picture of the little goblin.
may his soul rest in peace.
Well, I mean, he was no, that's from the
not the
classroom,
gargoyle.
not the gargoyle. I
Gotcha.
think there was a picture of the gargoyle. Was there?
I think it was in the.
No, it was the animals.
Animals
There was a
parading.
gargoyle picture in an earlier chapter.
Hmm.
All right, guys.
Alright.
Well, let us know what you think about this chapter. Just comment below, or you can follow us on our Instagram page for the latest updates on scheduling and whatnot, and just let us know what's going on.
And for the sake of fun howlers, maybe we could have everybody say what they think they'd get a holler from their parents from. We're doing.
Exactly.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.